Hi there. My name is Sarah Crotzer, and I'm the current editor of the Baum Bugle, the journal of the International Wizard of Oz Club. I'm here today to read you a story from Oziana. It was originally published in 1975, and it's called The Threat of Civil-Oz-Ation. It's by Dan Cox. Well, it's a dark, cold night, and there's a blustery wind going, so it's a perfect time for a story. Let's start. The land of Oz has never been thoroughly explored, for though it is a relatively small country, the use of magic is so abundant that uninterrupted exploration is difficult, if not impossible. However, the queen of this beautiful five-color country has, on occasion, sent out exploring parties, while some of the unique personages that dwell in the capital of this fabled land have taken upon themselves, as a hobby, the further exploration of Oz. Among these self-appointed explorers is a marvelous, if conceited, glass cat, a remarkably durable creature, considering its fragile makeup. This durability was caused because of its magical origin, which makes the cat far less susceptible to magical and physical harm than most other Ozians. This allowed her to shun the dangers to which explorers are subject, and to roam even the wildest territory in search of new adventure. Among her first acquaintances was a remarkable box-like creature who, though not magically created, had a durability almost equal to her own. This was due to the fact that the Woozy, for indeed that was its name, had skin so thick and tough that nothing could penetrate it. Neither the glass cat Bungle nor the Woozy had any need for food. While the Woozy was made so he could eat, he had need for but an insignificant amount of food to last him for a long while. These two were now in the Purple Gillikin country, the northernmost and most mysterious of the 5 countries that make up the land of Oz. One reason the land of the Gillikins was so mysterious was because its ruler, the Good Witch of the North, is a figure about whom little is known. Although she rules her country wisely, she has not properly enforced Ozma's decree that no magic is to be practiced by anyone but Ozma, Glinda, and the wonderful Wizard of Oz. For this reason, the Gillikin country is the wildest and most dangerous place in Oz. It would be impossible for me to record all that happened to Bungle and the Woozy on this trip through that wild and adventurous northern zone, so I will only relate a single incident, for it came close to altering Ozian history drastically. It was a sunny day, and the 2 companions were deep into the Gillikin country, enjoying the smooth going along the meadows of short purple grass, as most of their trip thus far had been through dense forest and over rocky mountains. It was a pleasure now to be sure of their footing, and to know that no wild beast might be about to attack them, although no beast could have hurt them had it tried. They knew they must be approaching a town because of the well-kept grass, which greatly resembled that of a golf course, except for its purple color. As they walked, they talked about the smooth meadow, which was as much a relief to them as a cool spring is to a thirsty man. "How nice it will be to visit a town," said the Woozy. "For though you may never get tired, we have been walking steadily for a week, and I am feeling a bit weary." "Yes, my dear Woozy," replied the glass cat haughtily. "I will welcome the chance to show off my pink brains to the common people. The sight of my exquisite beauty will be pure ecstasy to them." "I advise that you do not brag," warned the Woozy. "For though your pink brains, red heart, and emerald green eyes are things of beauty, your constant mention of them has gotten us thrown out of the last 2 towns we visited." "I admit that may be true. And last time my tail was nearly chipped in the process, so I will try to remember to swallow my self-pride and not speak of my beauty. But I warn you, without my reminders, the people's intense jealousy will smolder inside of them, and they may tear out their hair and cry from sorrow when they find themselves alone. Meow. I will not worry about that, for many times self-pity can be avoided by pointing out those virtues that those you think lesser than yourself possess." "Well, I'll try that," commented the cat, "but it will be more difficult than showing off my virtues." "Perhaps. But wait, here come a pair of men in strange garb. They don't wear the pointed cap worn by most Ozites, and their clothing is completely devoid of frills. Possibly they know they are ugly, and so they have given up any hope of making themselves handsome. Remember," said the Woozy, looking meaningfully at the glass cat as the leader of the two men approached them. "Remember what we were talking about." The glass cat winked at the Woozy. Then, looking up at the man, said, "My, what a beautiful blue wart that is on the end of your nose. Meow." The man, dressed as his cohort was in plain purple overalls, ignored this remark. Instead, he bluntly asked the glass cat, "How were you made?" The glass cat was slightly taken aback at this question, but replied, "I was endowed with animation by the marvelous magical powder of life." "That's what I thought," said the leader. Then, turning to the other man, he said, "Okay, let's capture him." The other man immediately ran up, picked up Bungle and the Woozy, and threw them into a large bag he carried with them. "Say," called out the Woozy, "is this any way to treat strangers?" There was no answer to his call, but he felt that they were moving. "Don't worry, Bungle," said the Woozy. "Now I'm mad." For those of you who are only now first meeting the Woozy, it is proper for me to tell you that when a Woozy gets mad, his eyes flash fire. "I'll burn our way out," whispered the Woozy, and the sparks began to flash. Soon it was as though a box of skyrockets was going off in the sack, but the cloth did not seem to be affected. "Oh, stop, Wooz!" cried Bungle. "You may scorch me." "I'm sorry, but I can't seem to burn through." "Don't even try," said a voice from outside the bag. "The bag is made of asbestos." "Well, Woozy," muttered the glass cat, "see what happens when you compliment people and answer questions?" "Oh, quiet," said the Woozy in an irritated voice. "Not all people are like these. I just can't imagine what's wrong." On this remark, the glass cat did not care to comment, so for the next 10 minutes they rode on in silence, wondering until they were finally dumped out of the bag onto the floor of a strange castle. On the throne in front of them was a large, portly man in a gray business suit. As he tumbled to the floor, the glass cat whispered, "What in Oz? Look at that weird costume he's wearing." "So," said the man quietly to the glass cat, "you were magically made, eh?" "Not so," replied Bungle, jumping up boldly. "I was just magically brought to life. Now, if you do not treat me and my friend as honorable guests, I will scratch your eyes out." "You think so, huh? Well, now it is my turn to correct you. If you make even one threatening move at me, I will destroy you instantly." Oh, you think so? Just one thing? How?" replied the cat saucily. "With this," said the man, pulling from the inside of his coat a strange-looking object. It was a metal rod which branched halfway along its length, having the appearance of a horseshoe magnet mounted on a stick. "Ah!" exclaimed Bungle. "You can't destroy me with magic, not even with a two-headed wand." "Magic?" said the man in disgust. "I use no magic. I despise magic." "That is the reason you are here. Because you are magic and you violate one of Ozma's royal decrees. No, I use no magic. This is far deadlier to you than any magic. Watch." He turned to a glass goblin on a table near him, struck his wand on the arm of the throne. A strange ringing sounded. He pointed the device at the goblet. A crash was heard, and where the goblet had once been was now but a pile of shattered glass. "This is a tuning fork," he said, holding the device aloft, "and it could shatter you as easily as that goblet." Bungle was aghast. This was a horrifying development. He could resist magical blows, however hard, but how could she escape unmagical magic? The Woozy, however, was undaunted, so he quickly spoke up and said, "Can you fight me? I could easily burn down your castle with the fire from my eyes. What say you to that?" "A simple matter," he replied, reaching behind his throne. "This," he said, holding out a small tank attached to a nozzle, "is a chemical fire extinguisher. If I were to spray it at you, it would no doubt put out your fire forever." "You speak of Ozma's laws. We are both favorites of Princess Ozma, so you are holding Ozma's friends against their will." "A likely story. Ozma would never let you two exist if she met you. However, I will refrain from destroying you and from destroying the glass cat, as the cat will be useful as an ornament, and you, no doubt, will cease to exist in any case after I have destroyed all the magic in Oz." At this, both the Woozy and Bungle looked horrified. "Destroy all the magic in Oz?" exclaimed the Woozy. "You can't do that. It's impossible." "Oh, but I can, and I will do it. For years I was bothered by witches and wizards that were allowed to run around the North Country and play havoc on my duchy. But I, Duke of Progressia, will soon put a stop to it all. I have invented a machine that can take me to and from the real world at will. Soon, with the things I've found there, I will be able to build a machine to destroy all Ozian magic. Then Ozma's decree will be enforced." "But that's murder!" exclaimed the Woozy. "The Scarecrow, myself, Jack Pumpkinhead, and many others will cease to live," cried Bungle. "People in Oz will grow old and die," exclaimed the Woozy in alarm. Then, in rapid succession, the cat and the Woozy spoke in great alarm. "Oz will become as problem-ridden as many of the countries of the real world. Automobiles and trucks and all the other vehicles will pollute our air. We will be overrun with tourists who will keep their litter all over our beautiful landscape. With the tourists will come highways, until Oz is but a vast expanse of concrete with only small islands of land. Without magic, many people will be impoverished. Some might starve. Our royal army could not control the hordes of thieves who would come to our country. When it is open to the real world, they will take all the beautiful jewels. People will become dissatisfied and try to overthrow the government. What you have planned will cause utter havoc, complete chaos, and unavoidable ruin." "A small price to pay for civilization," replied the Duke. "Take them to a cell, guards. I have some things to do, and then my machine will be finished." The Woozy and the glass cat followed the guards quietly, as they did not wish to be shut up in the bag again. As they walked, the Woozy questioned the guards. "Why do you assist him in his plan? Do you not realize the consequences?" "Yes, sir," replied one guard sorrowfully. "We do. But you do not realize the consequences of not assisting him. When he first went to the real world, he liked it so much that he wanted Oz to be like it, no matter by what method. Now he says if we do not help him, he will use the things he has to destroy or hurt us and our families, just as he has threatened to destroy you. We do not fear for ourselves, but we would rather have our families live for a few years more than not to have lived at all." "Yes," said the Woozy. "I understand and don't blame you, but is there no way to escape?" This time the other guard spoke. "Sir, I have no family, so I am willing to take a risk. I will leave your cell unlocked so you may escape. As none but the Duke can hurt you, no one but I can be blamed for letting you go, and I will take that risk. Perhaps you could escape to Ix or Noland and escape our regrettable fate." "Thank you, friend. I hope to escape in another way, but we must work quickly. Just leave the door unlocked and don't worry." "Very well," said the guard. "I think this is your cell." "No," said the guard behind him. "Theirs is the next one. That is the dynamite for blowing a tunnel through Mount Munch when we start to make highways." "Of course," said the first guard, walking on. "Here you are." "Very good," said the Woozy with a wink. Until we meet again. When the guards had left, the glass cat shoved open the door and said, Okay, Woozy, they're gone. Now what do you have in mind? Meow. Never mind, said the Woozy, stepping into the hall. You get some of that explosive and follow me. The glass cat did as she was asked and followed the Woozy back the way they had come. Soon they were back at the throne room. As they stood and listened, they heard sounds coming from behind the throne. In investigating, they found a small room. In it stood two large machines, on one of which the Duke of Progressia was working. He was muttering aloud, It just needs one more part before it's ready. I'll just fly back to the real world for a moment to get it. He went over to the second machine and started to set some dials. 10 minutes there should be long enough, he muttered. Then he stepped inside, pressed a button, and disappeared. Quickly, Bungle! Give me those sticks and leave! This Bungle did with great haste, for she never liked to have the dynamite, whatever it was for, in her mouth. The Woozy took the dynamite, set it in the middle of the small room, and said, Whatever you are, I command you to explode! Nothing happened. Desperately, the Woozy tried every magic word he knew, and still, nothing happened. For 9 minutes, the Woozy went on like this. Then he got mad. He stared at the dynamite, and exactly 9 1/4 minutes after the Duke of Progressia left for the real world through his machine, the Woozy ran out of the throne room as fast as he could. 15 seconds later, a dull boom sounded, and both machines were destroyed. The next morning, the Woozy and Bungle were once again on their way. Well, Woos, meow. I suppose if the Duke liked the real world so much, he won't mind staying there. I suppose not. But we sure had luck when we found that dynamite. We were even able to destroy all those other fiendish gadgets he had. Quite true, friend, said the glass cat. But it helps a lot to have eyes that flash fire. Why, thank you, Bungle, said the Woozy with the largest grin his square face could manage. You know, Woozy, you were right. About what? You commoners do like to have your virtues pointed out. Meow. And that's the end of the story.